Hello and welcome to this video on how to use the Sales tab on the Compassheet model. The Sales tab is the first tab that you come to. One of the key things on here is how to set the business name and the starting date. What we're going to run through here is how to put in the various sales products, services, units, selling prices. I'm going to run through how to quickly and easily set all those up, and then one or two pieces on the how to override those once you've set up the defaults on there. Very quick and simple to do. So we're going to start off by putting the business name for the model, and you put that here on the top right hand side. So we're going to put here whatever your business name is, so UK #1 business. And the key thing here is that whatever the business name and the starting date of the forecast is, this is then used throughout the model. So whatever you put in here is going to be used on every tab and every part of the forecast. So if you notice here on the sales side, beneath the header, it's now got the company name on. So if we change that to UK #2, for instance, it just feeds through there. So everywhere we put this name, it automatically feeds through the model. Same with the date. If you put the starting date of January 2021, it automatically puts the first month of the forecast of January 21, second month of February 21, third month March, etc. And it feeds that through for the next 3 years. So just for example, if we did change that to 31st of December 20, change that date to December 20, and then that feeds right the way through the model. So the business name and the starting date are set here on the sales tab, which say feed through the rest of the model. Once we put those in, we then come through to the sales. We've got a facility here to put 10 different product types or services. We can put in those either by sales type, so it might be widget 1, widget 2, etc. It might be by geography, so you might have UK, Europe, rest of world. It might be by the sales channel, so you might have retail, wholesale. However you normally split up your sales, you can put those in the sales types there. So I'm going to have widget 1 and widget 2. If you don't use the rest of them, just leave them by the defaults. Whatever you put these names, these will feed through the rest of the model as well and appear on your profit and loss statements and reports. So for the first one, for widget 1, we're then going to put in what the base number of sales units are. So this isn't the value, this is the number of units that we sell. So if we sell 100 units a month, we're then going to sell those for, let's assume we're going to sell those for £200 each. Now this is the amount excluding VAT. So if you were a retailer and selling them for £120 plus VAT, you'd put the £100 in there because it's the VAT exclusive price. You then bought them for, let's say, £150 each. The cost to you was 150. That'd be a 25% gross profit that's calculated for you. Anything that has blue at the top of the column is where you input. Anything that has grey is calculated for you. So we're assuming that we're selling 100 units a month at £200 each. at a cost of £150. If, for instance, you didn't know the unit prices, or you want to use this model just on the values, you could put a sales of £1,000, gross profit of £30. So, for instance, you've got a mix of units within there selling in the UK. You didn't know the individual breakdown of products within there, but you knew you were selling £1,000 a month. You can use the model to say, well, actually, we don't know the breakdown of it, but there's £1,000 a month going out. A workaround here is to go, well, there's 1,000. Let's all assume they're £1 each at 70 pence. I'll give you sales of £1,000 at a 30% gross profit. So if you don't know the breakdown between the number of units and the sales price per unit, you can still use the model. So for widget 2, we're going to assume there's 500. They're going to sell for £2 each. They're going to cost you £1.50. So as the model as it stands, we're selling the number of units, selling price each, with the gross profit. We've got a facility in here, a very broad assumption that in year 2, an increase is going to be 5%, and year 3, 8% increase after that. So rather than having to calculate that each time, we can just put a broad assumption in there. If we go down to this table here, it's grey, so that means you can't input, it's a calculated. So we've got widgets now. Widget 1 is £1,000 every month. It's been calculated for here, so it's taken those monthly input, and the widget 2 500, and just drop those through there. Year 2 has put that 5% increase that we'd input there. And year 3, 8%. So if we drop down to year 3, because each year has a separate table, so year 3 has taken the year 2 total and added 8% on. So we very quickly got totals for years 2 and 3. What we have in the blue table, which is called the override value for each year, is, as the name suggests, we can override any of these values that have been calculated. So for instance, in April 21, for the widgets, instead of selling 1,000, we have some Easter promotion that we're putting on, or we know it's seasonal, and we're expecting an increase there, 2,000. So every other month stays at 1,000, but for April it's 2,000. So you can see that's been increased there. The following month it might decrease at 750. Anything you type in this table will overwrite the default. If you want to go back to the default, press delete, and it goes back to the 1,000 again. Take that back out, and that's the same for every year. So whenever you want to override any of these, it puts the absolute value in, so it's not adding to any of these, it's replacing the value. So that might be 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. So if you wanted to put individual totals in for each month, you can do. So that very simply is how to build up the products and services, put in the monthly sales, put in the selling price per unit. If you don't know the combination of monthly sales units and selling price, put the total in there and just put £1 in there. Put the cost price in, and it'll work out the gross profit percentage for you. These aren't reflected in the tables below the gross profit. These are used in the sales further down in the model when it comes to calculating the profit for you. So by default, you can it'll use these to calculate your annual totals, but if you want to, you can then go in and override these for each year with individual totals in individual months. So that's the overview for the sales sheet for the Compass sheet.